And we are back with a knocked it out of park edition of the Doing All Right podcast. Got a special guest on the couch, man.
What?
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Voch.
Brian Bronze needed some sleep. Brian Bronze took the day off, man. You know, when it's yours, you can do what you want, man. But Zach Wolchuk sitting in, helping out today. I don't think y'all recording stack today, huh?
No, there won't be a stack. I think we still have the normal schedule planned, to my knowledge.
Okay.
We'll have to talk with the boss, the powers that be, the Godfather himself.
Illuminati.
But we'll definitely, I assume, usual schedule will be posting Thursday, Saturday. If something changes, doing all right. We'll let you know.
So we got Zach on a Monday on the Doing All Right, a Zach Wolchuk edition of the Doing All Right. Man, Cowboys did a thing.
Yeah.
Over the last couple of days, starting last Thursday. We're gonna walk y'all through the first round through the seventh round, and one undrafted guy right now. Mm-hmm. Give us a little time to watch the rest of the undrafted guys. I know that y'all are really excited about those. Like, hey, Voch, what you think about what's the name from Kansas? Hey, yo, player,
I don't know right now.
I watched Kansas once, and I was watching the quarterback, and I wasn't thrilled. You know what I mean? So give us a couple more business days. You know what I mean? And we're gonna have those undrafted guys broken down for, and they're still putting the list together. So hang tight on that. We're gonna definitely get that content for you. But the grease is still hot for the draft picks. Okay, so me and Wooly, we're going to go down to draft picks, and honestly, I want to have this conversation with you as well. I want you to project them. We'll do it together.
Okay.
Project them onto the depth chart, who they're behind, who they're in front of, and we can kind of talk about the camp side of it.
Yeah.
What's that going to look like once we get to camp? I'll tell you why. Because Drew Shelton, right?
Yeah.
Left tackle. We'll talk about him later. Hey, Voch, is Drew Shelton going to come in and directly compete with Tyler Guyton? Mm-hmm. The coach says yes. Voch says, I don't think he's competing with Tyler Guyton at all.
Yeah.
I'm going to get your thoughts and opinions on it when we get there. But that's just an example of what I mean by where are you in the depth chart and what's your camp battle gonna look like initially, okay? Yep. Let's start off, man, with the guy, with the dog. Man, I'm so glad that the Cowboys traded up to take care of business.
Yeah.
Shouts out to some of my YouTube friends. I was watching their feeds, and I was watching my guy Foots and Zach from Double Move. There's a lot of Zachs in this community.
Mm-hmm. Good name.
And I was watching their live reaction, right? And Foots was like, hey, we traded up to get Downs. And Zach was like, what we give up? And Foots was like, a 5 or something. And Zach was like, which 5? And Foots was like, I don't give a damn. Yeah. This Caleb down, and you gave up a 5. I saw some people that was super into the compensation given up. But I'm like, the Cowboys did a phenomenal job, and there was nobody on their board in the 5th round that would make you go, damn, I wish we had I would lose on Caleb Downs so I could draft this guy in the 5th round or whatever. There was no guy on the board that'll make me say that. Walking away with Caleb Downs was the ultimate chess piece. Shouts out to the Joneses. I'm glad he's here. Wooly, what's your thoughts?
I mean, look, I think that anybody who's followed us on Crown and on the Stack, he was my favorite player in the entire class, my number 1 rated player. Voch, we've been, draft nerds for a long time. We've been given, a platform, getting to work with Brian, which has been a blessing. So I've been a part of, our coverage on the Fan and the draft for, I think this was my 4th year, I want to say. Okay. But out of all those 4s, I think Caleb Downs might be, if not number 1, a top 3 player that I've watched. I mean, I absolutely love him. So, I know you went on, I think it was Sean and RJ.
Yeah.
You're like 5 wins better. And honestly, dude, I don't think you're too far off. Mm. I mean, I think the possibilities are truly endless with what you can do with Caleb Downs and how they want to use him. And I think what I loved about this draft is Christian Parker. Sometimes the Cowboys can get into trouble by listening to your coaching staff, and these guys can fall in love with someone. But I think CP deserves the benefit of the doubt, 1. 2, he clearly has a vision and how he wants to deploy these guys. So, with Caleb Downs, not only is he going to make your run defense better, he's obviously all the blown assignments and the big plays you gave up on the back end, he's cleaning up all of that. He can step up and fill that nickel role that you did not have anybody to do last year. If you want to play strong safety, he's got you. You want to play free, he's got you. You need him to blitz and do some stuff in pass rush, he's got you. And he's also going to change the locker room mental makeup of this entire thing. Like, Dak's finally got his running mate for the defensive side of the football. Yeah. And I think there's been a massive leadership void, and it's nothing against the players that have been in that room the last few years. I think there's been some that have tried, but there hasn't been one consensus guy that everybody wants to follow. Caleb Downs will be that guy.
And he fits your new DC perfectly. He fits Christian Parker and what he wants to do perfectly. I'm just thinking about like how you can use Caleb Downs, right? If it's 3-4, like they're in some type of base, could be nickel. I don't know right now. But if they're in just standard 3-4, I can see Downs and Jalen Thompson as your deep guys. Somebody asks, hey, what we going to do with Malik Hooker? I don't know what to tell you. You got Caleb Downs and Jalen Thompson. Shouts out to Malik Hooker. There's a place for him. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's going to be a lot of looks where you would need 3 safeties. You know what I'm saying? And one being the nickel guy sometimes, right?
Absolutely.
4-2-5 and all this kind of stuff. I think Hooker is more in a PJ Lock conversation. So as far as what we're talking about projecting the depth chart in the camp battles, I don't think nobody's stopping Caleb Downs from being on the field.
No.
You may have so rookie minicamp is going to happen, and you may have a weird 5 days where Caleb Downs may have to stand on the sideline while PJ locking them out there. Maybe, because he's a rookie. And he may not have a star on his helmet at the time, because, you know, they do the whole earn your star thing.
Yep. You go back to Parcells with that.
But after them goofy-ass 6 days, Caleb Downs is going to be on the field for 12 years.
Don't even disrespect him like that.
It ain't even worth talking about.
It's just like, stop. Just let him, because you're right. He's already better than it, and it includes Jalen Thompson, and I don't care. I don't need to see him take a snap on the field. There's never been a more clear-cut projection to me than a player that's going to be successful. Now, how good is he? Like, I've put unfair labels. I did it on the stack. I got overly excited. I got giddy, and I threw out the gold jacket. I think he absolutely can be a Hall of Famer. He can be an All-Pro. I think the base is he's going to be a really good starting NFL player. I think you're right. I think where you're going to start to see Pete, it probably is going to be Jalen Thompson and PJ Lock, maybe a little Malik Hooker, but I think your two starters are Downs and Thompson. Then when you get into your nickel, Downs is now going to work down into the slot. You'll have Jalen Thompson as your free, and then probably Malik Hooker and PJ Lock rotating as your strong. What's interesting, Voch, is yes, they make the trade for D Winters. Yes, they draft Barham from Michigan. So those are guys that can help out with Overshown and your linebackers, and then you got Barron and James competing. But I wonder if you can also do we're rolling a safe. If you want to just get these guys on the field, now we're going to roll down one of our safeties that's kind of playing a linebacker. Because PJ Lock, I think, can do some of that. Heck, I think Malik Hooker at this stage of his career can do some of that. And Caleb Downs, clearly we saw do that at Ohio State.
I would love it if Hooker worked more as a box safety at this point.
Yeah.
He's older, speed's kind of going, still smart. Like Malik, like think about how much your safety room is kind of flipped. Like Malik Hooker was your best safety last year. Unfortunately, as crazy as that sounds, Malik Hooker was your best safety last year. But now the whole room is totally different. You were mentioning the linebacker spot. I'm surprised .com hadn't done this. F it, I'll do it. Do I have camera 4? Do I have F it, I'll do it. Put me back on 1. The whole Christian Parker press conference thing.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and this was Caleb Downs wasn't even. Or he was working out doing pro day stuff, was doing whatever. Christian Parker was like, yeah, I need my nickel to be a strong sometime, a free sometime, a nickel sometimes, and blitz at linebacker sometimes. I can find you an Ohio State play of him doing phenomenal shit at each of those things. So fine, I'll do it, y'all. I'll go find the damn thing and splice it together and I'll do it. So when you mention linebacker, Downs gonna be doing some of that too.
Yeah.
Downs got interceptions from linebacker.
Yeah.
He'll blitz from linebacker. He got sacks a lot. You know what I mean? Like he gets busy in all those ways, and I just don't foresee a lot of turbulence holding him up. As far as now this is where it gets a little interesting. Malachi Lawrence. I want to fast forward to Overton so bad because I think Overton think he's gonna be an edge.
He's not.
He's going to be a 4-eye guy.
Yeah.
So he's really...
He's got to be a hand-on-the-ground defensive lineman.
He's a defensive tackle.
He's not twitchy enough. He doesn't have this. He's more of a power guy, too. And I think the speed shows up, explosiveness shows up when he's down playing. If he wants to rush the passer in a 4-down line, he's got to play D-tackle to me.
3 safe from... Yeah, exactly. Wooly, Donavan Ezeirauku was technically a second-round pick.
Oh, wow! Are we doing this?
I'm not.
Are you flipping easy in Malachi?
I'm not.
Okay.
I just want to have a conversation though.
All right, let's talk about it.
Because Donovan's technically a second-round pick.
Yeah.
This shouldn't matter, but does round pick politics come into play here, and does it push Malachi up the depth chart?
It absolutely does come into play here. Why it doesn't, I think, for Donavan Ezeirauku is he was a guy that now. You do have new defensive coaches.
Sure do.
What's weird is his big sponsor was Steve Shimko.
Yeah.
who was with him at BC,
Yeah.
who's still on the staff as the quarterback coach, right?
Okay.
It's like Shimko is one of the guys that was like going to the defensive meetings last year and was like, watch my guy Donavan Ezeirauku.
Yeah.
So while I think that there were probably some like Flus was pushing, man, I'll take get me Donavan Ezeirauku at round 1. Give me at pick 12 last year. Those guys are gone, but Shimko's still there. I think Ezeirauku is about to really ascend this year. I really do. I think the guy that I think he could really push for snaps will be Rashawn Gary.
That's interesting.
Just as a pure pass rusher.
Yeah.
Like I think Gary's actually a better rusher than some have given him credit for. I do think that he is a really good all around. He's going to stop the run. This entire team is the last 2 years has taken such a better step with their roster construction to we are not going to get bullied anymore in the run game. Like everybody that they've brought in, whether it's Gary, Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, Barham is part of this now. Downs is part of that now. Malachi Lawrence, I think backside pursuit angles that he's able to take. Yeah. I think he's better along the edge. I mean, we talked about that with Coach Brim, who came in on Saturday with us, who coached him at UCF. I think Lawrence is solid as a run defender, but I think day one, it's Gary and it is Ezeirauku. If Ezeirauku doesn't take that jump that we think he might, then yes, I think Lawrence would push Ezeirauku. Otherwise, I really think it's going to end up being in certain pass rush type of roles. He's going to push Gary, but Gary also has that flex to then put his hand down.
Yeah. Would you say that Gary's the best proven pass rusher we have?
Right now, yes.
We project Donavan, but Donavan hadn't really shown us that.
Yeah.
Would you say, I just got a couple would you say's here. Would you say Malachi Lawrence is the best athlete of the three?
Yes.
Yeah. Gary's the best rundown guy.
Absolutely.
Donavan day one's a better rundown guy than Lawrence.
Agreed.
Lawrence is much more explosive than Donavan.
Yes.
I think it's going to be fascinating to see how it all plays out.
It is.
It's going to be fascinating.
Because the best blend between the two would be easy.
Yeah. How do you fit all three of them? And look, I know Gary can play some inside or whatever. I think he got all the sacks from outside, though. You know what I mean?
He did.
Like,
yeah. Well, it's stunts, though.
Stunts, too. Sure.
So, I mean, I do think some of that stuff working inside. Now, can he do that if he did play inside more consistently? Maybe.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was, he's stunting, and you've got that kind of loop and misdirection that they've got along the front. But, again, Voch, and I know we're having a camp battle depth chart projection. The teams that have just won the Super Bowl the last 2 years.
Got multiple guys.
It's not even like your leading sack guy isn't even a double-digit guy.
Yeah.
They're coming in waves. They're staying fresh.
Mafe had 7 last year coming off the bench. And he just got a big payday.
Yes, and I think the year before it was Sweat who led it for Philly, and he had 8. Yeah. So I mean, I think that's probably a good problem to have. Where all these guys are and they're competing with each other, and if you're not making plays and you're not producing, guess what? Your snaps are going to be limited because we got another guy behind you that's also chomping at the bit to get on the football field. That shit gets me excited.
Yeah, and Gary's deal just got redone. They just added 12 years to.
Yeah, hey, you got to drop that price.
Look, Rashawn Gary deal longer than Malachi's and Donovan's. I just thought it was very interesting. I would still love them to add a veteran. Just to add one more guy so that we're not relying on Sam and them and Isaiah Land and
I forgot all about Sam.
Don't we all? No disrespect to Sam, but that's just the nature of the beast though, Let's get it moving. Jaishawn Barham. We was talking to him. We got a chance to talk to him on the .com stuff. I was thrilled to hear that he was conscious of I need to work on this as a pass rush. I need to work on my counters as I love stuff. I can't stand a player that just run down the middle of somebody, just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Please. But while I was watching this film, and I told him this, I watched his last year's film. His off-ball linebacker tape.
It's good.
It ain't bad.
Oh.
So as I go to my board, and you don't need yours, Zach, but as I go to my board, I had a 3rd round grade on Barham. I had him after J-Rod, okay? So Reese, Styles, Allen, Golday, Trotter, Hill, J-Rod, and then I had Barham right there. So Barham is my linebacker, what did they have, 5, 6, 7? He's my linebacker 8. And then after that, I felt like linebacker kind of took a little drop with York, Elliott, Murdoch, Bocher, Elam Zor. But if somebody was like, yo, Voch, Jaishawn Barham about to come in here and compete for starting reps at linebacker, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it at all. I know D. Winters is around, and D. Winters is nice, I went and watched his film. I know Overshown is around. Overshown just hired Mulugeta. That might require.
Right, how many games you got for Overshown though? That's the thing. Poor guy, like star.
That's my point here.
But it's like, yeah,
I would love it if the Cowboys
Sure.
sent the pick to go get Jordyn Brooks. I personally think they're done.
okay, you do.
I personally think the Cowboys are done. I think they'll run Winters and Overshown out there, and I just don't have faith in Overshown's health just yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jaishawn Barham is going to have to play some linebacker for you.
I agree. And this might be crazy. I think Barham is a better linebacker than Shamar James.
Of course.
You know,
1,000.
and I think he's going to end up eclipsing Shamar James on the depth chart. I think your three guys, if you had to play three linebackers, I think it's Overshown, Winters, Barham.
Yeah.
You know, and because I love Barham more so, and you had a great question to get him to talk about the pass rush stuff. Yeah. I think his best attribute was blitzing.
Yeah.
I mean, he is just a
Explosive.
freaking heat-seeking missile.
Relentless.
As a blitzer, and he's got a feel for the timing of it. Man, yeah, and he can fly around. Like, he is a really, really good athlete. He's got some sideline to sideline range, and he thumps you, man. When he's got some good pop behind his pads when he hits you. So I think Barham, I like him more. I think he's more comfortable as an off-ball player. The edge stuff he really needs to work on, but I like the versatility.
Yeah.
Like, all of this is exciting about. We're confusing offenses. We're confusing a quarterback because you've got these guys in downs who can line up all over the place. Now we talked about the safeties and the versatility there. Overshown also is a guy that you could tease along the edge if you need to. Barham, now you can move around a bunch. We mentioned Garrett. Like, all of these guys, you can just kind of line up all over the place. Or post-snap, now they can switch up. Mm-hmm. So it's like mentally, you really don't know from pre to post-snap as a quarterback. And the second hesitation, and you know this better than anyone, Voch, like you start to get you get that pause. Now and now you've got some impact, havoc, difference-making players on defense that can really take advantage of that. And it's exciting, man. This defense has taken a huge step. I'm not saying, hey, you got a top 10 unit, but it's much closer now than it was 3 days ago.
If you add Jordyn Brooks to this thing, I ain't hear nothing. We just talking. If you add Jordyn Brooks to this thing, who has to move or sit down?
Oh,
because in my mind I was like, well, maybe Overshown could play outside linebacker, but I don't think you put him.
Yeah,
there because Gary and Ezeirauku would be better at it.
Who does move? I mean, maybe that could be.
And I love Demo, and he finally got number 0 and all that.
Yeah.
I get it. Contract year, hadn't been healthy for a whole year. Mm-hmm. Coming back from injury last year, looked a little sluggish, a little sloppy, stiff. Of course, you know, with another offseason, I expect him to be better.
Right.
But D. Winters is nice and Jordyn Brooks is all pro.
Yeah.
What happens if you add a dude like that to the room?
I think now Shamar James is a special teams guy.
Cut.
And
cut.
Yeah, I mean, Barron, good luck. Like, you might be a practice squad guy. Because you know what, Voch? I think Jordyn Brooks is going to find a way on the roster.
I think so.
You know, and it might not even have to be a trade.
There's a lot of noise around it now.
Yeah, you might get that post-June 1.
Well, just do us a little favor.
You know, Miami needs to open up some space. And if Jordyn Brooks has his choice, it sounds like he would love to be back in Dallas, back in Texas. You know, so to me, there should still be interest there. And even if it's a one-year thing, you know, let's go ahead and let's see what we got in Barham. But I think, you know, to have Winters, to have then Brooks, just for conversation's sake, and then now you've also got, you know, Barham that can kind of ease his way in there, kind of find his role. He's not thrust like Ezeirauku kind of got thrown into the fire last year. Maybe some of these rookies they're not always ready for, even though we might think they are. They're not. They need some time to really kind of let it click. So yeah, I still would, man. I'd still absolutely love to get a Jordyn Brooks because I think Coach Simon's kind of made it seem to us that. Do we make a little too much of a green dot deal? Like all these linebackers, they're all going to work on it. They're all going to try. They all kind of need to know to help with that. I still don't know, do they have that guy right now in a perfect world that's not named Caleb Downs? And Jordyn Brooks has said he doesn't really love to do that. He might end up having to do that if he's here, but I'd love to add him.
He's so good. Like, we'll find somebody else to do it, dog. Yeah. I just want you here. It's interesting to see what happens. I think it's fair if people still have reservations about the defense. It's totally fair.
Yeah, we got to see it.
But if you add Jordyn Brooks, and another like veteran pass rusher, I think that's the bow. I think that does it for me. Let's keep the enthusiasm high, and then let's figure it all out after that.
Yeah.
Let's skip to Devin Moore.
Okay.
Right? I like Devin Moore a bunch. Were you high on Devin Moore?
Yeah, I had him in the 4th, and honestly, I mean, fringe kind of 3rd round guy for me. I mean, I love the size, the range. I think he can run for days. I mean, he is a guy that you can see it. He'll trigger. He can got that click and close to him. I wanted a little bit more because of his. It might just be because he's so damn big, and it's not like he won't come up and support the run.
Sure.
I just wanted like a little bit more physicality in his game. But I thought I agreed with you 100%. Like some that were like, oh, he can't play zone. No, you see him get interceptions in zone.
Zone. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he's got man zone. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to end up starting games this year.
Yeah, I agree.
He really is.
Most of his picks, like you said, are in zone. But what they'll do with him, which is fascinating, they'll play cover 2. You know, cover 2. As long as you end up with 2 deep guys, 2 flat guys, and 3 hook and curl guys, you're good. They'll make Devin play the half. I showed it in my film session. Y'all can go watch it. There were 2 plays I found, and he made impacts on those plays. He batted down balls on those plays where he walks up like he's pressing, and then he bails his ass all the way out.
Yeah.
As the half guy, and it's interesting because this is why I like him so much because he's tall, but he's not leggy. You know what I'm saying? Because some tall guys can't turn because they tall. He can turn, flip his hips, good feet, and all this kind of stuff. And I think he has this initial press man about him. In my notes, I was like, man, he's tall and long. He's really good at press man, but I'm annoyed at how good he is in zone.
Yeah.
Because he's sneakily good in zone.
He is.
And then he talks to us and said, I think I can play a little bit of safety. And I said, I
think he's got that. Because if you're talking about where they played him with that, on the hash. Yeah. I think he absolutely could. And you got Hooker, who's on an expiring deal, and you got Locke, who's on an expiring deal. If things work out for you and you can get Deron Bland back to where he was, and Savone Rebel is healthy and ends up being the type of player we thought he could be when they drafted him out of East Carolina, all of a sudden that cornerback room's looking better. If you need to play some Devin Moore at safety, he's got that in his back pocket. I don't want him jerking dudes around, where you're flipping from position to position here, Vochi, like they did with Byron Jones.
Yeah.
Where I was like, Byron Jones should only...
Hey, man, just say moving guys around.
He should only play corner, and let's not have him there at safety.
Yeah.
But Devin Moore does have that in a pinch if you need it.
So as I look at the Cowboys depth chart, I immediately think that Josh Butler, Kalen Carson, and Wheezy Bridges are in deep shit.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Like... Darian Kendrick's on the roster, but he's just like insurance or whatever. I think as a 4th round pick, this is what I like about it the most. I think as a 4th round pick, I think Devin Moore directly has to knock on Revel's door. Like it's me and you now. I don't think Carson stand a chance right here.
No, I think Carson's lost all his confidence.
He lost his confidence.
I think the mentals are kind of gone there, which and as a corner, when that happens, I kind of got to move on. And that sucks because I liked Seatbelt a lot coming out. Yeah. He just has not been that guy.
Also, too, Carson is like 2 administrations removed now.
Yeah.
Like he was a Zimmer guy, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's a wrap for that. And also, too, Zach, we haven't talked about this yet. I'll bring it up with Bros tomorrow, but me and you could talk about it first. There was a big deal made about how smart these guys are. When you listen to Will McClay in the secret audio, they was talking to Devin Moore. Will McClay and Christian Parker noted how smart Devin Moore was. Will McClay said it in the press conference, and Christian Parker said it in the secret audio. Oh, you're so smart. You're so smart. What I want to know, and we ain't got long, is how many players on this roster currently are not smart enough for Christian Parker's scheme. Kalen Carson may be a guy to where we may be like, hey, man, 3rd year for Kalen Clark. Let's see if he can project. Let's see if he can turn into, year 3 leap. But I wonder how many guys regress because there's so much of a mental aspect of the game. That's what I wonder.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't want to take any personal shots at anybody. This has it's been a stupid defense.
Yeah.
And it has been, and you can see it. You can see it's just things are too fast. The game hasn't slowed down for a lot of these guys. And I think a lot of it was put on to Eberflus and the coaching staff, like the scheme. But I mean, come on. These guys have run. Now, and Savone Revel, he really has been a true man corner. But, like, it's not rocket science to figure out your responsibility in cover 2, cover 3, cover 4.
Sure.
You know, like, let's be honest here. If we're doing some rotating stuff and now maybe like my assignment's going to switch based on, if somebody goes in motion and now somebody doesn't check off and pass off to the right guy, the communication was a problem, but also just fundamental football understanding has been an issue.
Yeah.
They got smarter.
Yeah.
And I think that, clearly the whole brain work stuff that's fed into, I mean, Christian Parker, I think, has just made everybody in that organization kind of start to look at the game a little differently and understand. I mean, even listening to Jerry talk, Steven talk.
I'm gonna say I learned something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're using terminology and phrases in football talk where, like, not to say they didn't know it, but we didn't hear them talk like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's directly a Christian Parker influence.
Oh goodness.
It's exciting.
Yeah. Let me change my tone. You can stay happy, positive. And
Oh man, which guy?
I just want to tell you my tone a little bit. Hey man, I ain't gonna lie, dog. I don't think Tyler Guyton lost a lick of sleep when he watched some of the Drew Shelton film. No disrespect to Drew Shelton, and this is kind of where my distaste came from in the draft. But I've changed my tone on it because I'll tell you why. I wasn't the biggest fan of the players, Drew Shelton and LT Overton.
Okay.
They're here now. It's the 4th round, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in my mind, I could be like, all right, bro, it's the 4th round. Knock yourself out. My biggest issue, and I had to get over myself, my biggest issue was I had better players on the board. Mm-hmm. You feel me? So it ain't quite, hey, Voch, are these good players in the 4th round for you? Drew Shelton and LT Overton may project to be right where they are as 4th round picks. I saw one little thing, it was in the draft rewind thing on .com. They had 3s on them or something. I think that's a lie. I think that's a bit of a lie. Drew Shelton and LT Overton better not be no damn 3s on y'all, boy. I think that'll be a little high there. But I could see why they took the players in the 4th round. I just would have preferred if they would have took Jalen Farmer instead. We having a party. So with that being said, I'll lump both these two together. I don't think Tyler Guyton's worried about Drew Shelton at all. I think Drew Shelton is more of a Nate Thomas conversation, more of a Johnny Cornelius conversation. There's somebody else on the roster named Marcellus Johnson. I don't even know who he is.
No.
So
that guy's probably screwed.
He's shut up.
Sorry, Marcellus.
Sorry, bro. So like that's y'all's fight or whatever. And as far as LT Overton, he's at the bottom of his as well because Jonathan Bullard has done this in the league. He's done 4I in the league. He's done a good job at it.
Yeah.
Otito Ogbanya projects to do that job. Otito could do everything on the damn line. I was shocked at how versatile he was.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Otito could do everything.
That was a sneaky good sign.
I was real. I was not familiar with his game. Mm-hmm. But LT Overton, I don't think he's competing with a job. I just think he's special teams, maybe.
Yeah, depth.
Some depth stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's a standing outside linebacker. I don't think he's
Not at all.
a base end. I think he's going to be a 3-tech and a 4I guy. So I just thought there were better players on the board, but LT Overton and Drew Shelton, they're going to be developmental, long-term depth guys.
Yeah, long-term, I'm with you. I think that this year you've got both those veterans. Yeah. Ogbonia could end up being here for a while.
Yeah.
I think that's a dude that could end up, earning.
Because he'll be cheap.
Right? Yeah.
He'll be cheap.
Bullard, probably a 1-year type of guy. So I think Overton, he sits, he develops, he learns behind those guys. Because right now, I think consistently is a huge issue in his game. Mm-hmm. He just there's a splash play, and it's like, oh, there's LT Overton.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like, you watch the tape, and you're not really seeing a whole lot from him.
On the ground a lot for me, too.
Yeah. I think he needs to add some strength. And power is probably like the better attribute to his game. He's not like this twitchy, super quick, get up the field guy. Yeah. But I do think that he's going to need some time at the NFL level.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing that they've got some veterans who can kind of take him. Because he was one of these dudes that came out of high school. He was part of that legendary Texas A&M, like greatest recruiting class of all time at 22.
Yeah.
That didn't end up panning out. Then he's got to transfer to Alabama. So, some of these guys, you worry about them, like, are they pampered? Are they like, man, my shit don't stink kind of thing?
Yeah.
Well, he's going to have to kind of learn and earn his stripes here at the NFL level, which could be a good thing for LT.
I mean, people when they talk about him, they talk about how powerful he is and his strength. And I mean, the arm length is the first thing I noticed. He is built nicely. Okay. I wonder if they're gonna ask him to put a little more weight on. He's like 280 something.
Yeah.
I wonder if they want their big end to be more 295. Like Bullard, I think Bullard's like 301 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But he moves pretty decently. I just wonder what LT Overton looks like. And we're gonna be in camp, Willie, and I'm gonna be like, yo, Zach, LT Overton line up against Book, man.
Not going to go well.
I think LT going for a ride, bro.
Yeah.
I think Big Tyler, I think he going for BB and them.
Yeah.
I think LT going for a ride against all them.
What if, okay, so you mentioned Farmer, because I'm with you. You know, I got asked the question, like,
Yes,
if you
sir.
could have subbed out two guys. For me, it would have been I'd have taken Farmer over Shelton.
Yes, sir.
And we had heard that there was some conversation, you know, about those two, and some debate, like even in the third round, maybe taking Farmer there over Barham, but they like Barham a little more.
Yeah.
I'd have taken Farmer because I think he's got Booker-like traits to me. And then you probably are looking at like, okay, well, we're going to play Tyler Smith at left tackle.
Sure.
You know, and I get the hesitancy there. But I still believe if you have Tyler Smith just work on that full time, he's going to end up being a really, really good left tackle.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm not putting that. I mean, he was great his rookie year. He was a tackle coming out. He's turned into arguably one of the best guards, if not the best guard in football. But you look at the power now I've got with Farmer, BB, Booker. I'm set with Tyler Smith at left tackle. I don't have to worry and stress every single week about Guyton. Hell, let Guyton and Steele go compete on the right side if you want to. Yeah. And then now I've also got, you know, other guys, Nate Thomas, like who's going to be my backups. Like that's probably what I would have done. But they clearly do not want to play Tyler Smith at left tackle. They're trying to avoid that at all costs.
I thought Farmer made sense because, you know, you had moved on from Hoffman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Hoffman was like a swing interior guy for you. Bass is doing that now, but how many times you gonna keep bringing back Bass? I think he's almost done. They re-signed Matt Hennessy, which is a pure center. I would imagine just move on from Bass and just make Farmer like your new swing interior guy, and that would have been lit in a bitch. That'd have been lit. We ain't got to talk about Anthony Smith very long. I still want to research him a little bit more, but he's a downfield, big, speedy yak guy. He didn't catch a bunch of passes. He's one of them guys. I don't know how the Cowboys evaluate players that catch 2 passes a game. You know what I'm saying? But he's one of those guys. But when he caught passes, they were big-time passes. But when we do a little more research on that, we're going to kind of group him in with the undrafted guys and kind of go over them. We've seen Mike Trigg a bunch, though. Whew. We watched a shit ton of Trigg.
Yes.
Where was he on your board?
4th round.
I had him in the 4th round as well.
Yeah, I love
he was like my 110th player.
Yeah. He might have cracked the top 100.
He might, you know what I'm saying? So
it's on crownglobalmedia.com.
Yeah.
I think it's there. I think I did have him as a top 100 guy.
Trigg is nice as all get out, Zach. All right, cool. I got him right here. He was 110 for me.
Okay.
So explosive plays, vertical stuff downfield. I thought he was a yak guy. He was big. He was hard to tackle. Ball tracking, body control. I thought he was really good at catching bad passes.
Yes.
If he's tracking the ball over his right shoulder and Sawyer Robinson was on some bullshit and it ended up low opposite, he'll redirect.
Oh, so good at it.
He'll redirect and catch it there.
The body control is phenomenal.
Jump ball guy. I thought, and he had a good fight with VJ Payne. People want to point that out to you. But look, man, VJ nice too. I'd love to have VJ here.
Same.
But for the most part, Trigg was beating the shit out of people.
Yeah.
I think this tight end room is a due for big change. Now, he fell, I guess, because of off the field stuff in the way of like the mental or the need to grow upside.
Yeah.
I don't think he's been arrested. I don't think he got caught with dope in the trunk or anything like that. He ain't got a gun in the car or nothing like that. He ain't gambling. But I just think it's the growth maturity side. I think if you had to rely on Trigg to be a leader in your locker room, of course you'd be in deep shit. We got 4. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got 4 and we got tight ends ahead of Trigg. You know what I mean? So hopefully, like, that'll work out. This is where I do this every year, really, but I really stand on this now. I think Trigg has the easiest path to the active roster right now.
Okay.
I think Trigg's path to the active roster is higher than Overton's.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion. This is why I say this. And people have heard me say this before, but this is like my second time people hearing me say this, whatever. a couple of years ago, like 4 years ago, Stephen Jones and Jerry had this press conference or whatever. And it was in preseason. They was talking about the final roster. And Stephen, I don't know, he didn't slip. He just told us, yeah, John Stevens was about to make the roster till he got hurt.
Right.
John Stevens. Undrafted John Stevens? Mm-hmm. But what John Stevens fit was an archetype that was different than the other guys they had.
Yes.
I think they want their tight end room to be diversified.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? They want the mostly blocker guy. There's Jake, the downfield jump ball kind of dude, and then there's Lipke. I think that's what they want. Fairweather just didn't work out for him.
Yeah.
Fairweather and like he with the Cardinals now or something. I wouldn't be surprised, Zach, if your tight end room was Trigg as your jump ball vertical receiver guy, Lipke as I play fullback and wing and I play tight end sometimes guy. Jake is your one.
Yep.
And I think this is going to come down to Luke and Brevin Spanford fighting to the death.
Yeah, I think Luke Schoonmaker is going to be on somebody else's.
I think he in deep shit. Yeah.
I mean, I think it just hadn't worked out.
Yeah.
You thought Scooney would come in and be what Brevin Spanford's been, where it's like that's your blocker type of guy.
Yeah.
That hasn't panned out for Scooney, and it certainly hasn't worked out necessarily as a receiver. There's been moments in his career, but overall, no. I watched Trigg, and I'm thinking this dude could be the best pass catching tight end in the draft.
Yeah,
like that's how damn good his upside is. Now, I did have people at Baylor. They're like, this dude's a headache. Stay the hell away. And I do think a lot of it's maturity. I think some of it's selfishness. But I agree with you, dude. Like, if you can play and he's got athleticism at the NFL level, we can all grow up. We can all mature as people. And there's something special about, like, Dak Prescott. Yeah, I'm going to get you in here, and we're going to be all fighting for that common goal together. Mm-hmm. So I'll take a flyer on an undrafted rookie free agent with the talent that is Michael Trigg that could end up being one of the best pass catching. And they needed explosiveness. Michael Trigg gives you some of that explosiveness, the ability, you mentioned, bad ball catcher, run after catch. I mean, Dak's seam ball, we didn't see it last year. Teams were hunting it, and it just wasn't working.
You're going to see it with Trigg.
Trigg can run it. So I'm looking at Ferg, Brevin Spanford, and Trigg as your top three tight ends on the squad.
Yeah, I agree, Zach.
Yeah.
I agree. And I don't think it's going to be particularly close. We was in camp last year like, hey, man, Brevin show is getting the red zone targets in here. Brevin show making a whole bunch of catches. Luke in trouble, but Brevin got hurt. Mm-hmm. Brevin got hurt. And sometimes that's just all you need. We going into the Eagles game like we need Luke. We need Luke. You know what I'm saying? If Brevin and them stay healthy, man, I just see this thing going totally different. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, throughout the week,
up there. Look at those shoes.
Ladies and gentlemen, throughout the week, me, Zach, Brian, Aisha, of course, we're going to continue to study these undrafted guys to get some information out on those. Whether they make the team or not, we still got to know who they are and like project who they are for us. And they're Cowboys now, so it makes sense. You know what I mean? And later in the week, we'll be breaking those down, bringing that information to y'all. But we appreciate y'all for tapping in with us, man. Phenomenal draft. Y'all go in the comments and kind of let us know. We all know Caleb Downs. So Caleb Downs and who else was y'all's favorite pick of the draft? I think that'll be interesting to know if it was Barham, Lawrence, or Devin Moore or Trigg. Not that it can't be Drew Shelton or LT.
Oh yeah, go for it. If it is, those are your guys.
I just wouldn't assume to see a whole bunch. Yeah. I just wouldn't assume it. Zach, thank you so much for waking up early in the morning and tapping in with us. I know you got radio in a couple of hours there, so appreciate you, sir, for tapping in with us. I think NFL is a strange lady is done. I think we got done selling them after the draft. So, hey, we told you it was limited. You know what I'm saying? The key word limited is limited.
It's limited.
It's limited, you know what I mean? So, hey, them gone. But we appreciate for those of you that tapped in and bought them. But you can still go get some merch if you want to. You can get whatever logo on, whatever garment you would like. Knock yourself out. Follow us on all of our socials. Zach Wolchuk?
Yep, at Zach Wolchuk. WOLCHUK.
At Zach Wolchuk on Twitter. And I'm Voch Lombardi. And we'll catch y'all tomorrow. Lay out the pieces. Ground.